Oh my gosh, can you relate to this meme? And this is why we came up with these series for yummy weekly meals. Hopefully this would sparkle some ideas for your next meal. Hello, my name is Jessie and welcome to the third series of our yummy weekly meals. First, we will make that feta pasta from TikTok, but the deluxe version of it. You will need a green bell pepper, an onion, a few red sweet peppers, feta cheese, basil, pasta in the shape of your choice, and some cherry tomatoes. Yes, they're frozen. Let's jazz it up and make a deluxe version of this dish with these ingredients. Start boiling the pasta. Prepped while the pasta was cooking. I just drained the pasta out and used the same pot to cook this dish. I've been wanting to make, the famous TikTok feta pasta because I really like the flavors. However, I wanted some meat in my pasta, and that's why I came up with this deluxe version of it. And I'm doing it on the cooktop instead of the oven because it takes less time. 1 tablespoon of garlic confit, or you can add 2 cloves of garlic and 1 tablespoon of oil. I have here about 2 cups of frozen cherry tomatoes because I had some leftovers and I just froze it, but you could use fresh tomatoes here. Want to mash the tomato a little bit. Hi, Wolfie! Now we just mix it together for about a few minutes so it would be cooked. Once the shrimps and the salmon are about to be cooked, we would add in the peppers. And mix it together. Now the cheese. And bring it to a boil. Let's give it a taste. Oh, perfect. Now we're gonna mix in the pasta. Let it mingle with the sauce a little bit. Oh, looking good. Looking good. Now we're gonna fold in the basil. Make sure your heat is off. We're just gonna use the residual heat from the sauce and the pasta to wilt down the basil. Let's dress it up. Some feta cheese and a basil. Wow, look at this, the deluxe version of the TikTok feta pasta. Next is our air fryer pork chops with roasted golden beets and arugula salad. We really wanted some pork chops tonight, so we swung by our local butcher shop on the way home from work and got these 2 beautiful pork chops. And I'm just gonna marinate them straight on this butcher paper for easy cleanup. So I'm just gonna add about 2 teaspoons of the Buttery Steakhouse seasoning on here, rubbing it together, and marinating is done. Just to make sure that our meat will reach the correct temperature, I am putting the meat tomato in here before putting it in the air fryer, and the air fryer is being preheated to 325. Because the pork chop will take longer to cook, so I'm putting it in the air fryer ahead of time at a lower temperature, 325, for it to get a head start while I'm peeling my beets. I actually peeled more than just 1 beet, but we're just gonna eat 1 tonight because it's huge. I'm just gonna thinly slice them into about 1/2 inch thickness, just so it can roast faster. because I'm hungry. So we're gonna slice this and add it into the air fryer with the pork chops now. Because the pork chops have a lot of fat on them, so I'm not even putting any oil on the beets. I'm just trying to put it underneath the pork chop, and I know I could do this better, but I was tired after work. I was just trying to get it done, so I could have just removed the pork chops, adding the beets, and then add the pork chops back in. But I don't know what I was thinking, so this is the hard way to do it. Alright, now that the beets are in, we're gonna actually roast everything. I'm gonna increase the temperature up to 400 degrees, and we would roast them for about 20 minutes. While the pork chops and beets are in the air fryer, let's put the second side dish, the salad, together. Here I have some baby arugulas, and I'm just gonna cut in some oranges. This is my absolute favorite salad topping, a fresh orange. So I'm just gonna cut them into wedges, and at the end I'm just gonna squeeze all that juice into the salad. That would add so much freshness. Alright, that salad took less than 5 minutes to make, and now I have 15 minutes to wait around for the air fryer. What to do? This is what I would do, and this is my hack. Remember earlier when I peeled the beets? I peeled all the beets that I have, and what I'm gonna do now is to cut them into halves or big pieces, so that once my pork chop and roasted beet come out of the air fryer for tonight's dinner, I'm just gonna toss these into the air fryer while it's still hot and have it roasted while I have dinner. That way, when I'm done with dinner, I would have roasted beets for future dishes.
Look at that.
So I'm putting some oil on this, roasting it at 375 for about 40 minutes, and just leave it in there until I'm done with dinner. Now, my favorite part, let's eat! So just some pork chops, salad, and let's add half an avocado for some healthy fats. Alright, I'm done with dinner, all full, cleaned up, and the beets have been done and sitting in the air fryer cooling down for the past hour or so. Now I'm just going to put them away, and I can use these for salad topping, a side dish, or just snack on. It's ready for me, and it didn't take any extra time. Tonight's dinner is going to be super simple. We are sampling some local sausages. Yesterday when we got the pork chops from our local butcher store, they had these homemade sausages with different flavors. I couldn't help it but got 4 for tonight's dinner, so we can sample them all. I'm just doing it in the air fryer at 375 and flipping it here and there until it reached the right temperature. Here we have some bison sausages with green chili and habanero. And then we have some pork beer bratwurst. And then venison sausages, or venison sausage. I only got one. And lastly, we have the Caribbean jerk. Internal temperature is 160. We're done! That was one fun dinner. We also have it with some homemade chimichurri sauce and some old-fashioned cocktail. Next up is my go-to oven grilled chicken with some sautéed snow peas. Because the sausage dinner took no time to cook, last night I had some time to make some marinade for today's dinner. We start off with 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm using 1 cup of this roasted garlic and rosemary marinade, but you could use whichever you have. 1 cup of chicken broth, and this is my homemade chicken broth. And I'm just gonna mix it really quick. Yes, my chicken is still a bit frozen, but it's okay. It's gonna sit in the fridge being defrosted and marinate until tomorrow. We're just gonna close the lid, put it in the fridge overnight, and every time I go to the fridge, I would just shake it a little bit, and that's it. I've been wanting to grill, but the weather has been not good. So I'm just gonna grill indoor. I'm having my grill marpan here, and adding 1 tablespoon of oil. Here I'm just using a brush to evenly coat the pan with all the oil so the chicken will not stick. Once the pan got really hot, I would add in the chicken that we marinated last night. And I also have the oven preheated to 375 degrees. And we just leave the chicken to do its thing. Don't move it so we can have some good grill marks. Once the chicken does not cling to the pan anymore, that's when we know that it's ready to be flipped. Wow, look at these grill marks. Who needs the grill outside? Alright, now that I got what I wanted, the marks, we're gonna put this in the oven at 375 degrees for about 7 to 10 minutes. And this is all the marinade liquid that we have the chicken soaked in overnight. I'm gonna bring it to a boil to cook off all that raw chicken because I'm gonna use this as a glaze to glaze my chicken once it's out of the oven. Now my snow peas. So in this hot skillet, I'm gonna add about 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm using avocado oil here, but use whatever you have. Next, I'm going to add in about 4 cloves of minced garlic. And yes, these are the frozen minced garlic that I froze during my grocery haul. Once the garlic is almost melted, this is when I'm going to add in my snow peas. And just let it saute while the garlic also bring out the aroma. And it takes about 3 to 4 minutes max because I still want that crunch in my snow peas. During the last 30 seconds is when I season it with some chicken powder, or you could do salt and pepper. But I season at the very end so that it will not draw out all the liquid from my snow peas and make it soggy. Alright, snow peas is done at the very same time, so is our chicken. Let's take the temperature. Ooh, 165. Perfect. Now to add some shine and flavor, we're gonna brush on this liquid gold. I love saving the marinade liquid for the final touch. My favorite part of cooking is plating, so I can eat now. Some chicken. I'm serving the chicken over a bed of quinoa that we have already cooked in the fridge, and let's brush some more of those marinade liquid just to add some more flavor and shine. Dinner is ready. The last dish I'm sharing for this week is my 5-spice beef stew with homemade bread. This is my homemade dough from the ingredients prep. Now with this cast iron pan, I'm gonna put it into the oven while preheating the oven to 425 degrees with the pan inside. While the oven is preheating, I'm gonna gently remove the dough out of this glass bowl. Try not to disturb all the air bubbles in here. Gently flip it and shape it in a decent shape. And then I'm going to put a bowl over it for it to rest until the oven is ready for us. The oven is ready. I'm taking this hot pan out. Be careful guys, it's really hot. I'm going to transfer the dough on here. Drizzle a little bit of oil around it just so the bottom can get crispy. Now back into the oven it goes at 425 degrees for about 20 to 22 minutes. Let's move on to the beef stew. You need beef broth, salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, some tomato sauce, onion, celery, potato, carrot, 5-spice, and some beef cubes. I love to marinate every component of the dish every step of the way. Salt, pepper, garlic, 5-spice, 5-spice. Tomato sauce, mix, 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 mix. Onion and celery. I'm gonna sear this beef at a very high temperature, and that's why I'm spreading it and let it get into contact with the pot as soon as possible. We're gonna sear it for about a minute or so. Now we're gonna add in the vegetable. I'm doing 1-to-1 ratio, 1 pound of beef, 1 pound of vegetables. I'm adding in 1 quart of homemade beef stock, and yes, it's still frozen, but it's okay. It's gonna slowly melt and let the beef and vegetables soak in all the flavors and become a stew while we wait for the bread to be done in the oven. Everything is timed perfectly.
You hear that? Oh, so good.
A bowl of comforting food with that homemade bread. Oh, I love dipping that bread into all this yumminess and soaked up all that flavors. What a great way to end the week. Wow, look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? Now it's your turn to make them at home this week. And don't forget to come back for more of these series.